Twitter shares are down more than 6% after banning Donald Trump on Friday. Twitter's accused him of violating its policies against glorifying violence. That move drove many of his followers to the other social media app, Parler, which promotes unfiltered speech. But Parler's platform is also offline. Amazon Web Services says it will no longer host Parler. And Parler says it's suing in response. Brian Stelter is with us. Brian, the doors for the avenues for President Trump to communicate directly with his base have been pretty well shut off.
They have been pretty well shut off. The president could hold an old-fashioned press conference if he chose. He could deliver a videotaped speech on YouTube. I think he's still able to publish on YouTube, although he has not recently. And Richard, that's part of the issue. The president doesn't seem to be trying to get word out anymore. He held an event today giving somebody an award, and there were no cameras. So we're not seeing the American president on camera. And his Twitter account is his most valuable megaphone. It's what he cares about the most. And that's been away for several days now. We all know the president doesn't drink, but it's as if people think he's a drunk driver, and they've all taken away his keys. And there is some, suspicion, and in some cases, criticism of the technology companies for perhaps doing this in a coordinated way. But it reminds me of a couple of years ago when one platform and then all the others banned Alex Jones of InfoWars. Once one of these tech CEOs has the courage to take action, it seems like everybody else has that same courage very quickly. I don't know if it's coordination so much as they just look around, they want one person to do it, and then everybody else follows because they believe, in this case, they believe Trump is a threat to the public.
Brian, I know that the actions of the president have been particularly egregious, but with your First Amendment hat on, with your reliable sources hat on, does it make you at all uncomfortable that they have taken these measures?
Here is the area that I'm the most interested in now. What's the appeal process? What's the follow-up process? What's the reversal process? Is there one? Now, different companies have taken different actions. Twitter says this is a permanent ban. Others have suspended Trump's accounts or taken action against his campaign, which leaves the door open for him to come back in the future. I do worry, not just in the case of Trump, but also some of his supporters who have been banned, some of these QAnon loons who have been wiped off the internet over the weekend, some of these fundraisers, these grifters trying to make money off of gullible Trump supporters, they've been deleted over the internet, off the internet this weekend. In those cases, those might be some really bad people and some crooks. But in 5 years, in 10 years, can they come back to Twitter? Is there an appeals process? I think that's one of the unsolved issues here, one of the unresolved questions, as these companies make it up as they go along, Richard.
Right, but if Twitter and others are the new town square, and we all accept that you can't shout fire in a crowded theatre, and to a certain extent, what the president did was shout fire in a crowded theatre. But surely Twitter et al. Do have public responsibilities where their bar for suspending or eliminating must be high.
Yes, but at the same time, though, they are all just, if we just break it down, they are all just private companies, and they can all just close the door and not allow me to buy a ticket to go on the ride. That is true. However, they have such power that many Americans, many people around the world feel they are like governments, right? Facebook does essentially act as a government. It is like a nation state. It is so big and so powerful that even though it is just a single private company, I think that's actually, that rings hollow to many people who hear about this, who say these companies shouldn't have that much power. And Trump is actually proving that point to many of his supporters now, many of whom are even angrier that he's been banned. And that's causing even more fury out there in the dark corners of the internet that could actually be very combustible, Richard.
Brian, good to talk to you on this. Thank you. We'll talk more as we progress. Thank you, sir. I appreciate.
Ich grüße Sie herzlich. Der öffentliche Dienst hält unser Land seit vielen Monaten unter den schwierigen und ungewohnten Pandemiebedingungen am Laufen. Für diesen besonderen Einsatz danke ich allen Mitarbeiterinnen und Mitarbeitern von Herzen.
Vorstufe zur Wirtschaftsschließung wäre ja mehr Homeoffice, ist ja auch mehrfach.
Das Grundrecht auf Meinungsfreiheit ist ein Grundrecht von elementarer Bedeutung. Und in dieses Grundrecht kann eingegriffen werden, aber entlang der Gesetze und innerhalb des Rahmens, den der Gesetzgeber definiert, nicht nach dem Beschluss der Unternehmensführung von Social-Media-Plattformen. Unter dem Aspekt sieht die Bundeskanzlerin es als problematisch an, dass jetzt die Konten des US-Präsidenten dauerhaft gesperrt wurden.
Wir haben ja auch einen Corona-Hotline in welchen Bereichen?
Ich will ganz grundsätzlich sagen, dass die Bundesregierung überzeugt ist, dass die Betreiber sozialer Netzwerke sehr hohe Verantwortung tragen. Sie tragen hohe Verantwortung dafür, dass die politische Kommunikation nicht vergiftet wird durch Hass, durch Lüge, durch Anstiftung zur Gewalt. Und das
beinhaltet eben den Appell, so weit wie möglich Homeoffice zu gewähren. Dann ist die Lage natürlich...
Und es ist auch richtig, nicht tatenlos zuzusehen, wenn auf bestimmten Kanälen Inhalte gepostet werden, die in diese Kategorien fallen. Deswegen ist es richtig, wenn da Anmerkungen gemacht werden und was man an Praktiken in den letzten Wochen und Monaten alles sozusagen da noch sah.